Hello and welcome. My name is Alan, and we are back with more notable names in Jewish American history. This is Monday's video. Anyway, today we are looking at Sid Luckman, quarterback, Super Bowl hero. Yeah, one of the greats. But he played way back in the day in the 40s. So, yeah. Anyway, as you can see here, he's in the Columbia University Hall of Fame. But anyway, Columbia has had many great quarterbacks. Rose Bowl hero Cliff Montgomery, Heisman Trophy runner-up Paul McGovern, All-American Archie Robertson, NFL first-round draft pick Marty Domrez. Well, to be fair, Columbia isn't known as a football powerhouse. But, anyway. But only one is in both the College and Pro Football Hall of Fame, Sid Luckman. He's hailed as the man who elevated pro football to a level it now holds by revolutionizing the game. Under Papa Bear George Halas's tutelage and Luckman's execution, the T formation became the most feared tool in football's chest. Although the T formation has been in existence since the early 1930s, it wasn't until Luckman did it that it became an effective weapon, and for the first time, the passing attack became the focal point of pro football. Yeah, early days of football, many passers weren't big yardage gainers. Yeah. The former Columbia quarterback was the model of pro football's quarterback as much as a pioneer of the past as Babe Ruth was the groundbreaker for the home run. Luckman, at the helm of the Bears, won 4 NFL championships, including the historic and devastating 73-0 rout of the Washington Redskins in the 1940 title game. This is before the Super Bowl, so remember that. They're just called the NFL Championship. But yeah, 73-0 in the championship game. He threw 6 touchdown passes in a game in 1943, then topped it with 7 later that season against the Giants. That same year, in the 1943 NFL Championship game against the same Redskins team, he tossed 5 more touchdown passes, an NFL title game record that stood untouched until Joe Montana threw 5 for the San Francisco 49ers in 1990. I forgot what they changed Washington's mascot to. Because, let's be honest, Redskins is a very racist mascot. It's always been. You know, it's like saying the Brooklyn Blackskins. No, you don't do that. But anyway, 5 TD passes, an NFL game record that stood untouched till Montana threw 5 for the Niners in 1990. So yeah, this guy's good. He's on the same level as the great Joe Montana. So yeah, who played 45 years later. In addition to Chicago, Luckman was forever linked to Brooklyn, where he grew up and rose to prominence as perhaps the finest football player in New York City has ever produced, and Manhattan, where he attended Columbia in the late 1930s and became a Hall of Fame quarterback. He did not play his freshman season to concentrate on his studies, but became an immediate starter in 1936 in his sophomore season, completing 46% of his passes and throwing 6 touchdowns in 7 games. One thing you'll see, his completion percentage is probably one of the places he struggles the most, because it's always in the lower rounds when you think about the way some quarterbacks are today. But he was still just slinging those touchdowns. He was a gunslinger, more or less, when it came to football. Columbia went 5-3 that season, but fell to 2-7-2 in his junior year, and 3-6 as a senior. So yeah, we're talking 8-9 games in college, as compared to, what is it, 10 or 11? I can't remember now, but yeah, it's a longer schedule, just as the pro season is. Remember, the schedules on a lot of your sports, when you get far back, are usually much shorter. Luckman stood out even more in midst of his team's mediocrity. He completed 83 of 176 passes for 47%, for 1,065 yards in 1937, and 8 touchdown passes, then went for 66 of 132, 50% as a senior. So yeah, for 856 yards and 6 touchdowns. He also punted, place kicked, and played brilliant defense. So all over the field, doing a little bit of everything. In his first 2 games of his senior season, he led the Lions to major victory over Yale and Army in the 27-14 vanquishing of Ellis. He hit 10 of 17 passes, including 2 of more than 50 yards, punted for a 40-yard average, ran 20 times for 103 yards, kicked all of the field goals for Columbia and all their extra points, and was the outstanding defensive player of the game. When Columbia beat Army 20-18, but won only one more game, 39-0 over Virginia, the team lost to Penn by 1, Navy by 5, Syracuse by 1. He was chosen first team All-American and appeared on the cover of Life magazine. Chicago Bears coach George Halas attended the Syracuse game and was highly impressed. The Bears had the second choice in the NFL draft after the Pittsburgh Steelers, and not wanting to leave anything to chance, he traded 2 players to Pittsburgh for one of theirs, plus the Steelers' first draft pick. With that, he chose Sid Luckman. Luckman would turn around the Bears, would actually turn the Bears down at first, preferring to work for his father-in-law's trucking company, but Hollis won him over during that summer, and he never regretted it. In addition to the 1940 and 1943 NFL championship teams, the Bears won NFL titles in 41 and 46. So that's titles in 40, 41, 43, 46. The latter came after World War II, when Luckman left football to serve in the Merchant Marine. And he would retire in 1950. He led the league in touchdown passes 3 times, chosen as NFL MVP 3 times, was an All-Pro 7 times in his 12 seasons in NFL. Only 12 seasons. Again, we see that with a lot of the greats in NFL history in the early years. Think Jim Brown. I think he played only like 10 to 11 years. After he retired, he remained in Chicago and went into business. He also served 14 seasons as a part-time coach for the Bears, never accepting $1 in salary. He is a member of Columbia's Columbia football's Team of the Century, passing away July 5th, 1998, at the age of 81. So yeah, let's look at Britannica to get a little more information here. Born November 21st, 1916 in Brooklyn, New York. Dying July 5th, 1998. Miami Beach, Florida. North Miami Beach, Florida. Yeah, July 5th. I was like, did it have a different one? No, it's July 5th. He was an American professional gridiron quarterback for football who, during his 12 seasons, 1939 to 1950, directed with exceptional success the revolutionary T formation offense the Chicago Bears. The forward passing feats of Luckman and of his greatest adversary, quarterback Sammy Baugh of Washington, terminated a long era in professional football in which offensive strategies were based largely on running the ball from the single wing formation. And to give you all some information on that, T formation, straight line, straight back. That's all it is. You've got, in the front, you've got your offensive line, center, guard, tackle, quarterback, fullback, halfback, 3, 8, and then you've got 3 more players, so it tends to be tight end, receiver. And that would be your T formation. Which, usually looking at that, you would think, that's great for the run. But no. Luckman led it as a passer. The single wing formation tends to have the 5 men in front. Center, guard, tackle. You have your quarterback, and you have halfback, which that's 7, so you've got 4 more players. You might have a fullback spread off center, and then it would be tight end on one side and a couple receivers on that same side. That's what they mean single wing. It's focusing on, most of your players are going to be on one side of the ball. But yeah. As a collegian at Columbia University in New York City, he was an important symbol for second and third generation American Jewish immigrants. He was part of a remarkable generation of Jewish American athletes in basketball and boxing, as well as football, who used sport as an avenue to assimilation and success. After graduating from Columbia, he became the Bears' starting quarterback in his second NFL season in 1940. On December the 8th of that year, he participated in the Bears' 73-0 victory over Washington in the most one-sided championship game in NFL history. With him as quarterback, the Bears won additional championships in 41, 43, and 46. For the 43 season, he was named MVP of the NFL, and on November 14th of that year, he set a league record by passing for 7 touchdowns in a single regular season game. And on December 26th, he established the NFL championship game record by throwing 5 touchdown passes as the Bears defeated Washington, this time 41-21. In average gain per pass attempts, he ranked second all time for both career and a single season. 8.42 in his career, and the season was 1943, 10.86 yards per pass. And this is per attempt, not completion. You gotta remember that. After his retirement from active play, he became a successful businessman in Chicago and a part-time assistant coach of the Bears. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1965. So yeah. Let's look at Wikipedia here to get a further look. We saw both his birth. Well, they, instead of West Miami or North Miami Beach, I've got here Aventura, Florida, or Aventura, or whatever it is. College. So he's from Brooklyn, New York. College, Columbia, which itself is an Ivy League school. And clearly, I don't think he went there to play football, because he skipped the first year. He didn't get to play his freshman year because he focusing on studies. But yeah. 1939 NFL draft. He was the second pick of the first round. As a player, he played 1939 to 1950. And then he became an administrator, vice president of the Bears, 51 to 53. Because, yeah, 50, and then 51 to 53, and then coach, 54 to 69. 15 years. There's his highlights. NFL championships, 4. 1 MVP. 5 times first team All-Pro. 1 second team All-Pro. 3 Pro Bowls. 3 NFL passing yard leaders. 3 times NFL passing touchdowns leader. 3-time NFL passer rating leader. NFL completion percentage leader. NFL 1940s All-Decade Team. Chicago Bears number 42, which he wore, was retired. He is one of the 100 greatest Bears of all time. He was named an American Association champion I guess that was the college group or conference he was in. No, that was minor league football. So, okay. First team All American in 1938 for Columbia. Second team All American in 1937, Columbia. And 2 times first team All Eastern with Columbia, 37-38. As a coach, he had 1 NFL championship. His NFL records: highest single season passing touchdown percentage, meaning for every pass. So out of 100 passes, almost 14% of those would go touchdown. Highest career passing touchdown percentage. And again, yeah, like I said, gunslinger. Just yeah. Anyway, I've got his career stats here. 51.8% completion. Like I said, he wasn't as high as you would think of a lot of other big name quarterbacks, but boy did he complete his passes or make his touchdowns. Yeah. Though, as you can see, he threw 137 touchdowns, but 132 interceptions. He would also serve in the United States Maritime Service during World War II. Yeah. Reaching the rank of ensign. Let's see. Born in Brooklyn to Jewish immigrants from Germany, Meyer and Ethel Luckman. His father sparked his interest in football at age 8 by giving him a football to play with. He and his parents lived first in Williamsburg in Brooklyn, New York City, then in a residence near Prospect Park in Flatbush in Brooklyn, New York City. And it was here as a youngster he first started throwing a football. He played baseball and football in high school. He would actually lead the high school football team to 2 all-city championships. He chose Columbia University after meeting the team's coach during a Columbia Navy game, and while he was not admitted to Columbia College, instead he attended the new college for the education of teachers, an undergraduate school that was within the Teachers College at Columbia. He competed on the... That might be why he didn't play his first season. He competed with the football team from 1936 until the new college closed in 1939, at which point he transferred to Columbia College. Coach Little had a problem getting good high school athletes because of the entrance exams at Columbia, and Columbia didn't have any physical education undergraduate program, so when new college was started, he was happy because they had a PE department In fact, the 1936 varsity squad had 5 other new college students: Hubert Schultz, Edward Stanzik, Oscar Bonham, Harry Ream, and Antony Mareski. So yeah, had trouble getting student athletes because the entrance requirements at Columbia got to have high grades. Like I said, it's an Ivy League school, so it expects you to keep your grades up there. And it didn't have any physical education undergraduate program. So yeah. Let's see. He would be a member of Zeta Beta Tau fraternity. He finished third in the 1938 Heisman Trophy voting behind Davy O'Brien and Marshall Goldberg. I've heard of Davy O'Brien. I hadn't heard of Marshall Goldberg, though. Let's see. So, Hallis convinced the Pittsburgh Pirates, who later were the Steelers, to draft Luckman second overall and then trade him to the Bears because he was interested in using Luckman's skills to help him restructure the offensive side of the game. However, despite his successes at Columbia, he initially declined any further interest in pro football, instead preferring to work for his father-in-law's trucking company. Hallis did convince him otherwise. Yeah, single wing. That's what I was saying. I thought it was kind of off center, but they're the side by side. Then you've got the tight end back a bit, but yeah. Look how they're all on one side of the field here. You've got guard, tackle, guard, center, guard, tackle. I guess that'd be double tight end. So yeah. And then you've got receiver. One's going to be fullback, one's going to be halfback. Anyway, the T formation, like I said, it's going to be a straight line. They got a double halfback. I know them as a straight up and down. But yeah, it's the shape of a T is more or less what it is. A common type of T formation. So yeah, like I said, you could have the straight up and down line. Let's see. 1943, as soon as the season had ended, which they had won a championship in, Luckman volunteered as an ensign with the U.S. Merchant Marine and was stationed stateside. And while he could not practice with the team, he did receive permission to play for the Bears on game days during the following seasons. He returned again to the Bears as a full-time occupation in 46. So yeah. So it don't look like they actually shipped him overseas, but he signed up for the military even in the height of his playing days. So yeah. We talked about his numbers, the trophies he's won. accolades. So yeah. This was the year he was MVP. 10 games. He only started 3 of them, but he still went 110 for 202, 54.5%, 2,194 yards, with 28 touchdowns. So yeah. Postseason. Yeah, 43 was the MVP year. So yeah. Later years, upon retiring, Luckman remained with the Bears as a vice president, and in 1954 he became the team's quarterback's coach on a part-time basis, a position he held throughout the 60s. After leaving the NFL, he went to work for Craft, Chicago-based manufacturer of cellophane products, eventually becoming its president. The company was part of the Rapid American Corporation, of which he also obtained shares. In 1969, Rapid American was the subject of an IRS investigation over the payment of these shares and dividends, a case that Luckman and his wife appealed. His wife, Estelle Morgellon, died of cancer in 1981, and he underwent a triple heart bypass the next year. He did retire to Aventura, Florida, where he died July 5th, 1998, at 81 years of age. So followed his wife 7 years later. 17, sorry. He was survived by a son, Bob, and 2 daughters, Gail and Ellen. But yeah, a list of all the honors. But yeah, Sid Luckman, great quarterback for the Chicago Bears. One of the great players in the early days of Papa Bear Hallis. But we'll go ahead and end this episode there. As always, educate thyself. Think, read, study, learn. Someone tells you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources. Be putting my sources and links in the description box below the video. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, later.